Hello there. Thank you for joining me and welcome to Celebrating Everyday Heroes. So, for those of you joining in for the very first time, I am Joy Leng and I'm a positive hypnotherapist, also known as the Superpower Activator. I use positive psychology tools and hypnotherapy to empower people to live strength based, whole brain living. So, in this challenging time, be supported by our Be Well series. And here are some of the different resources full of science based practical tips for you, and it includes a Strengths and Joy podcast, which is available on Spotify and on Anchor FM. We also have a We Are Healthy, Well, and Connected Despite COVID-19 Facebook page. There is a private Facebook group called the Strengths and Joy podcast. We also have a channel on YouTube, Super Pack Joy Link, and there's weekly 3 minutes with She Pathway, 3 minutes with Super Pathway videos. When we have Facebook Live, it will be on Super Monday, Resilient Wednesday, and Self Care Friday on Super Pack with Joy Method Facebook page at GMT +8, 4 p.m., which is Singapore and Malaysia time. Now, Super Monday is where we explore how to develop your strengths. So make your Monday super powered with me. Now, in this challenging time, resilient is definitely the name of the game. So, apply science based research findings into actionable strategies that you can apply and share with your family and friends. Let's be pandemic proof together. On Self Care Friday, we will learn about the tools and the techniques that we can use to support ourselves whenever we feel stressed. Take responsibility for your own self care and for those under your care. Now, Mother Teresa says we ourselves feel that what we are doing is just a drop in the ocean, but the ocean would be less because of that missing drop. Now, more than ever in this pandemic, we must support and inspire one another. At the end of the day, it is humanity united. So, in this show, we want to acknowledge the everyday heroes in our midst who have shown up in their words and action to demonstrate their love and courage for humanity. We also want to celebrate the activation of their superpower strengths to serve others. So, join us to give voice to our everyday heroes and let's show our support in every way that we can for their Love in Action project. Now, this celebration is brought to you by Super Pack. Welcome to episode 7 of Celebrating Everyday Heroes. And today, the hero and heroine in focus are Mark Kotwan and Serene Lee with the Gift of Life initiative. Now, a little bit about Mark. Mark is the father of an organ transplant donor, and this single father really dotes on his only daughter who passed away abruptly, and he chose to donate her heart despite family objection, knowing that this was his daughter's wish. And in 2011, Serene was diagnosed with heart failure. So the next time you think about the battery life of your smartphone, think about Serene Lee. For every 6 hours, this mother has to replace her two external batteries that was powering her mechanical heart pump for some years. And if just one of the battery dies, she may die. So today, Serene is the not only the recipients of several patient awards and the co-chair of LVAD patient support group, which supports and give advice to heart transplant patients and mechanical heart pump patients. So together, their love in action is this gift of love initiating, spreading awareness about organ donation. So since the successful transplant of Mark's daughter, Carmen's heart, to Serene, and the heartwarming connection that they now cherish, they want to spread more awareness and dispel the myths around organ donation so that more lives can be saved. So please help me to welcome these two fabulous humans, Mark and Serene. Hello there. Okay, let me unmute
Oh,
you. Hi, Mark.
Hello.
Hi, Serene.
Hi,
Thank
hi.
you for
Joy.
joining in.
Hi, Serene.
Okay, thank you for joining in. So, okay, so let's dive straight into your story. So tell us more about your initiative, the Gift of Life.
I think the gift of life is something very priceless. It's giving off a a very priceless thing. That is the organs of your loved ones, and eventually, just for one person that has passed on, you can actually save a lot of lives, and continue what the the person has passed on, continue the legacy and so on.
Mm.
Dad want to say something?
Yeah. Give of life actually the slogan of organ donation worldwide, and I I I I started to look into all this after 2015, after Carmen passing, and I felt that by giving life to others is actually it's a good thing, it's a good deed. So that's how it started actually.
Yeah, so it started because of the passing of your daughter Carmen, and also because of what you decided to do, and then so how did you doing what you did spark off this motivation to want to get others to support you in the same direction?
Well, after Carmen passing, I've been giving talks to hospital, and I handled a few cases. There's one cases, a young boy died, but after being beaten up and died. And I tried to contact the families. I was in Jakarta at the time. I called them and I couldn't persuade them to donate the organs. He died just like that, just like in vain. So I kept telling myself, you cannot do anything to help, definitely something must be done. And until Serene tracked me down. Yeah, she tracked me down in 2017. That changed
Yeah,
everything actually.
2017.
Yeah, when she called me and she said, I'm the heart recipient, this and that. And I said, are you willing to walk with me together so that we can tell everyone in the world about this wonderful gift that you receive, and share with everyone life. And she was reluctant at the beginning because of the
With all
egg
the
and that.
media and stuff.
Yeah, we were never on media actually. I'm not a chairperson of any organization. I just run a small business myself together with my wife, and yeah, Serene actually bring a lot of changes into my life and my wife's life actually.
So maybe share a little bit backstory for audience who's new to the two of you. Um, uh, what happened? Because that's a really beautiful story.
Okay, so what happened was, after I took the heart, I had that 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 curiosity in me to want to find out who my donor family is, and I want to thank them. So I managed to track that down because it was in the papers that he donated his daughter's organs. And so track that down. To cut a long story short, message him. It was quite a big hoo-ha in media, was because I think no Asian would dare to do such thing, because if you Google and if you YouTube, you would see all the Westerners doing that. Jolly well, you Google and YouTube, you can find. But I before I even tried to say hi to that, I actually tried to Google Asian, and didn't. And I think it was good because uh, for the first time, or rather, in Singapore, or maybe in Malaysia, that we have that reunion that was broadcast in both countries, and seeing a heart transplant recipient saying thanks to the family and letting the dad hear the daughter's heartbeat. I think it's something very touching that I do have. That period of time where we had that whole thing, I do have people walking past and recognized me from TV and then said, "Oh, well done," and they got that correct knowledge already, that hey, I want to do something like that. Hey, I want to donate my family's organs if they pass on because of a brain dead, and then from there, many more lives are saved. Not just one, but many more lives are saved. Yeah.
Hmm. I love the story, and I'm never sick of hearing this story over and over because it's so beautiful and so authentic. I mean, you guys really set the example, smashing
Mm.
this stereotype of what we should do, what we must not do, cannot do, when actually it can save a lot of lives. So, how long did you wait before you finally got Carmen's heart? That
I
was
waited for 3 years. Yeah, I waited for
okay.
3 years. So I was on the mechanical heart pump for 3 years. But the 3 years were tough because I was in and out of hospital because of bleeding, the batteries. We had issues. I nearly died. I think I nearly died. Don't know how many times. So and finally, as what we gave the thing today, a gift of life, is really a gift of life. As in, I got a brand new life, and I've got a change of heart. I have a new lease of life because of that decision to go against the odds, against family members saying, hey, why you want to let your daughter being cut open? It's like it's a tough decision because your loved one will have to go inside the operating theater again, being cut open. There will be stitches, there will be cuts. But that made that decision, and I don't think he actually regretted it.
Well, he got a new daughter in return, a
Yeah,
new
correct, correct.
daughter, literally with the heart of his daughter.
Mm-mm.
So it's really beautiful. So for 3 years you had to live this way with the mechanical heart pump that gave you so much
Mm-hmm.
challenges. You had to be in and out of the hospital because of all sorts of problem, and because of the
Correct.
new heart, because a stranger made a decision, your life completely transformed because of that one decision from a
Yes.
stranger. I mean, a
Yes.
stranger then,
Yes.
right? That's how powerful this
Mm,
whole
mm.
organ transplant potential is. And I think that it's a great thing that the two of you are doing, because in Asia really we have so many
Yeah.
stereotype and nonsense beliefs
Correct.
about
Correct.
this and that
Correct.
that really need to be smashed so that more people can live a proper life and have happy lives. Like your children are happy now because mommy is
Yeah, that's what I want
much
to
much
add, because
better.
it's not just me that I have an extended life. It's also a good news to the kids that wow, I don't have to worry about mommy being on the pump anymore. I don't have to worry about mommy running out of batteries anymore, or anytime she would die kind of fear. And that was what they said to me when they came to the hospital and visit me. And their first word is, I finally don't have to worry about you on the pump. So it not just benefits or bless me in a way, but it bless the whole entire, even your friends are happy for you, your families are happy for you, to see you live a new life because of one decision he made. Yeah.
Yes. And I would have to say it's a joint decision. It's really Carmen's decision and Mark's decision, isn't it?
Mm, mm,
Carmen, who like I've said in private chat with Mark, like how blessed it was that you guys somehow had that kind of conversation, which is kind of rare for a child to have with a father. But somehow you guys had that kind of conversation, and then something unfortunate happened. And
mm,
because of that conversation, that unconventional conversation, Mark knew with confidence what the daughter would have wanted, and that gave him the resolve to go ahead despite family objection, isn't it? So it's like, again, it's like I'm really curious about that part. Like, Mark, how come you have such a unique kind of conversation with your teenage daughter about donating organs?
I think that brought her up very well from young, bringing her to orphanages and things like that. She has a very giving heart, lah. I think to start off, everything all started from that.
Mm. So,
Mm.
can you share more about what are some of the things that you guys have done together to raise this awareness?
Mm, with that, after we met in September, the following 2 weeks later, I flew back again. we did a walk, remember? And the both of us gave a speech on organ donation. And that's what we do. And even I think whenever I'm home in Penang, when people look at us and find this weird girl calling him daddy, even though the age gap seems funny, but that's how dad would say, oh, this is my daughter because blah blah blah. And then that's how you bring about educating people and telling people, hey, you see, my daughter's heart is with this girl, and now
Yes.
I lost a daughter, but I gained, another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we do when we are in Penang.
Yeah. Mark, anything you want to share?
Uh, same. What I told Serene when she contacted me. I'm glad that she survived. I'm glad that she survived, and in a way, Carmen survived in her. And well, I take it as a call because she was a National Heart Center patient, and Carmen is supposed to be posted there. So I take it as a call from my daughter that she wanted me to do that, and with Serene, I felt like I'm glad that she survived, and it's a blessing actually. Serene is a
Mm.
blessing to many, I believe, near future.
How did you feel when during the press conference when you were listening to your daughter's heartbeat in Serene? How did you feel in that moment?
To be frank, I was like, I cried for 2 years before she contacted me. 2 years, every night, I will go up to my attic and cry. And after she contacted me, I stopped crying. I stopped crying, and when I do usually cry in public, so I hear the heartbeat at the very first time at home actually at home. So when we were at the chief minister office, I, I I managed to control my emotion, and I didn't shed the tears except my wife. My wife, mommy, cried a
We
lot.
cried heaps. I cried heaps. I think it's a very different, where there are also heart transplant patients who wish they could say their thanks. Of course, deep down in them, they would one day, if there's a chance for them to say thank you, they would. But I think based on circumstances on how their loved one is passed on, the other party, which is the donor, might not want to see. But I think that story or our story is kind of different because dad wanted to hear his daughter's heartbeat. He indicated. And if he did not indicate, I think I wouldn't have had that courage to, here I am, kind of thing. Yeah. And we did it lah. I'm glad we did it, and we can proudly in front of people when we meet, that's my father. And people ask why, then that's where you start the whole thing and tell the story. Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful example of walking the talk and a very good way to attract people's attention as well to this awareness that you want to raise. So I understand that besides the heart, Carmen also donated other parts.
Yeah, kidneys,
Kidney, liver,
yeah, kidney goes to two person, right, Serene?
yeah, kidney two, liver also two. You can do two, ma. One body or one donor, you can actually save at least 5 lives. Your heart, your kidney, your liver. So at least 5 or more. If some people want to donate their corneas, their eyes, their skin, whatever. Yeah. So basic alone, 5 lives. Unless the certain organ is not functioning well. But that's what Carmen did. Her liver and her kidney went.
So
Yeah,
she actually helped 5, not just one, not just
Or
you.
more. I
She,
remember the pancreas
she,
also, right?
yeah,
I think,
more. I think
wow,
more.
wow.
Definitely more.
I think
I
8, right? I think
remember the
yeah,
pancreas. Yeah.
yeah, all
There
together.
was pancreas also. But
Yeah.
in Singapore, there's a basic 5 lah. But as and when the
Mm.
donor's family want to say, take whatever you can take, use whatever. And so yeah, you have your more. Carmen definitely donated more and saved more than 5 lives.
Mm. So most of our audience are probably going to be Asian, and there'll be all sorts of reaction right now. I would think like, what? Or maybe fascinated, or maybe like open but nervous. So I'm sure there's a lot of myths surrounding this whole business or donating organs, right? So let's help create awareness and having like the proper facts instead. So let's educate our audience to what can you share what are some of the myths surrounding about donating organs?
Well,
Mm.
I grew up in a typical Taoist family, and there is always a taboo and belief that when someone died, the whole body
It
will
has to
have
be
to,
complete. Yeah.
yeah, complete and before cremation. And when she was declared brain dead uh, at Tan Tock Seng Hospital, I decided to sign off the organ so that now it's not got wasted, so that it can save life, and government probably can live on someone else's body. For now, I have Serene, and my mom was against the idea of donating organs away, and even the biological mom also against it. And I said no. I said this is not my call. In fact, as I told you earlier on our previous Zoom meeting, that we spoke about it. As I'm a contractor, I used to work in a high risk area. So I used to remind my daughter that if anything happened to me, my organ should be pledged away and given away to others. So she told me the same thing, and my mother didn't stop talking to me for 2 years actually. My mother, for the first 2 years after Carmen passing, every time I used to see my mom 2-3 times a month, and every time she would ask me, why you don't want to save Carmen? Why you don't want to save? For 2 years. And
Mm.
she told everyone that she knew that I made a bad decision by donating away the Carmen's organs, and that I'm a bad father, and so on. I cannot blame her because of a belief of this taboo that creates the myth that was been put in their mindset. But I don't have that kind of mindset. Sorry to say, I'm not really a religious person, but I'm God fearing. I'm God fearing. I believe there is a God. So I think, well, I I should go against and I don't bother. I don't bother. She doesn't want to talk to me for 2 years. It doesn't really matter. And she finally started to talk to me after Serene tracked us down. Actually, yeah. One day before Serene came, you remember? I told Mama that you are coming. Tomorrow we are bringing you to Chief Minister office so that you can hear Carmen's heartbeat. In fact, she refused, though. She was reluctant to attend the event. And you can you still remember? The Chief Minister have to invite her. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's that taboo that, you know, what my close family members, as what I said just now, is it, the person has to go back to the operating theater again, being cut open up again with stitches and things like. Not everybody wants that, and the delay of receiving the body. I'm sure when that agreed, it took them hours just to finally be able to receive back Carmen's body and then go ahead with the funeral. So these are all the things that people have, you know, in mind. You know, why go and cut open my dear one? Why go and drag the funeral? Why go and let her suffer or let him suffer? But if they look at the end product, that hey, 5 lives are saved, or so many more lives are saved, and being alive, talking to you is already a miracle, and it's because of what that did and that donated. I think that's something worth thinking about, whether you want to donate your organs or not.
Mm. What is your advice to someone who wants to go ahead, but having similar family objection? What should the person do?
Mm.
I would say, look at our story. Serene, Serene is a government story. After all,
Mm,
it's a real
uh,
real life story. Yeah.
I would say, okay, like for that, yeah, the livers and the kidneys are different, but uh his daughter's heart never stopped beating. So it didn't stop beating and it will still keep beating. And so that's the thing that to tell people that, hey, someone out there is having her kidney or her liver or her heart. The kidney is still functioning. The kidney hasn't stopped functioning. It's not decomposed. It's not burnt. But a part of him or her is around, and yeah, his daughter's heart never stopped beating at all. It just stopped for a while just to transport, but it never stopped beating. And yes, she has passed on for 5 years, but the heart is still pumping and giving somebody else life. That I think, as what we say, is priceless. Mm.
mm. Indeed. So I like that idea of sharing that a part of your precious beloved is still functioning and giving life to somebody else. I think that's a very powerful and appealing thought. So thanks for the tip. I think that will really help people to consider um, our own organ donation, or even having that kind of conversation in the family, because this is a
Mm.
beautiful story that unfold, and I'm grateful that there's a story like this, both your story out there in the world, that can serve as a very important reference point that we didn't have before. So
Yes,
thank
correct,
thank
correct, correct.
you thank you so much for what you did, for both your bravery, your vulnerability, and for Serene for being so kepo and then try and contact Mark, and then
Yes,
because of that the whole beautiful things blossom, and Mark
it's
feels like,
not
oh,
here
I had
kepo,
I had I
it's
have
here
a daughter
kepo.
again.
It's the heart kepo. The heart was inquisitive, and I think the heart search for, yeah. So it's here, yeah, for being kepo, and go and dig it out and make sure I find him. Yes, yeah, right.
So Serene,
I
Serene is not kepo, and she's not kepo.
I think I
She's
did
there.
what
Yeah,
I
she's
did
there
what
for
the
a
heart says.
purpose.
I did what
Yeah,
the heart says. You're right. I did
I
what the heart
yeah.
says.
You live on because of a purpose. I
Yeah,
can see
correct,
that.
correct, correct,
Yeah.
correct, correct.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, thank you for coming on the show. Before we end, can you share with us how can the public support your initiative or this thing that you are trying to do? Where can they find more information?
Okay, for Singapore, you can actually go to the National Organ Transplant Unit, which is the NOTU website. But for Singapore, it's kind of easy because if you don't opt out, you are automatically in. So just don't opt out, and then automatically you are in. So Singapore is kind of easy, but to find out more on what organs are part of the basic five or whatever, yeah, you just go to the website at National Organ Transplant Unit.
Okay. And Mark, you want to share anything for the Malaysia side?
Actually, Malaysia are way behind from Singapore, especially in organ donation. In Singapore, they enacted HOTA Act, Human Organs Transplant Act, back in 1987. But Malaysia, until today, you still need to encourage people to opt in, which is a bit outdated. And I'm trying to push to the ministry that they should amend the law in Malaysia by following exactly the same Human Organ Transplant Act, HOTA, in Singapore. And generally, we can see that the rates of organ donation is much more higher than Malaysia. Comparing, it's a small country. It's a very small country, Singapore compared to Malaysia. But we are lack of awareness. We need to organize event, to ask people, to beg them, to tell them how good is the organ donation. I think the government part, they should have amend the law just like Singapore. It will help with more organ donations will happen near future actually.
Mm.
Yeah, I just hope the government really do something
Mm.
about it. Yeah.
Mm. But I guess in the meantime, us individual who is watching this show can do our part first. We don't have to wait for other people or government to take action. While that is happening, I think we can decide for ourselves and have that conversation with our family, or
Yes.
just very simple. Just share this video with your friends and say, "Hey, check this out," and what are your thoughts? I think we all can take some responsibility as well and just start with our own lives while waiting for the government to do the right thing in Malaysia. So I'm glad that Singapore, the right thing has already been done. So at least we might be a small country, but we are already playing our part in saving more lives. So we
Yes.
look forward to Malaysia joining in. But in the meantime,
Yes.
as individuals watching this show, I hope that we can take responsibility and take the first step ourselves.
Yeah. Correct.
So thank
Yeah.
you,
Correct.
Serene, and thank you, Mark, for coming on the show and sharing about organ donation. I feel like I have learned a lot as well myself, and I feel I'm continually inspired by the two of you. So for those of you who is not have not seen enough of them, you can check us out on Wednesday again. They are appearing on my show again. That's how amazing I find their stories. But this time, we will be interviewing Mark on the same story, but more about what he, as a father, had to go through after Carmen's sudden passing, about the resilience that he had to build in order to, move on and move forward after the passing of his precious daughter. So you can check us out on the Super Pack with Joy Method Facebook page. We'll be live on Wednesday at 4 p.m. For tough conversation on Resilient Wednesday, and we will talk to this very resilient dad about his journey. And we will
Okay.
be catching a bit of Serene too in that episode. So do join us for a different side of the story where we talk more deeper into the humans that was going through their personal trials and tribulation in life and how they thrive. And as you can see, more than thrive, now supporting other people and on a mission to save more lives. So I think the two of you are shining example, and I feel very honored to be able to uh, have a chat with you again on Wednesday, Mark. So,
Okay.
okay, thank you so much. Let's end with our favorite pose. I think you would know the pose by now.
It's
Let's
we
Oh.
end
kind of got used to it,
with our
isn't it?
superpower pose.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
okay,
sorry.
let's end on a high note with our superpower pose. And thank you for watching. Catch you on Wednesday for Resilient Wednesday chat. Take care, audience. Bye. Remember to share this video.
Bye.
Bye.